Okay, let's go ahead and get started. We are very excited to have Dr. Lyle Barbour with us tonight. He's got an amazing story of persistence and hard work. I think you're going to love hearing from him. Let's talk about Heather Mason for a minute. How did you like Heather last week? It's pretty awesome, right? A great example of going after what she wanted and what she loved and hard work and pivoting to get to where she is today. So let's have three of you come up and tell us one thing that you love that you learned from her. And we have books for you here as well. The book by Amy Anderson on what awesome looks like. So if you haven't come up before and you want to come up, just raise your hand. Okay, right in the back there. Yeah. And right here. Yes, go ahead. One more. Okay, in the red sweatshirt. Come on up. So give us your name and tell us what you learned.
I'm Catherine, and I learned that sometimes you just have to really risk. And if it's not a big risk, sometimes it isn't worth doing.
My name is Branson. I thought it was really cool how she just took an opportunity, saw an opportunity and took it and went and did the things. So it really inspired me to go after some opportunities that are in my way right now. So, yeah.
My name's Lydia, and I love that she talked about being knowledgeable within your industry and to always keep reading and learning and keeping up on that industry, because that's something that we can all do that is unique to whatever industry we end up in, and we're never too old to keep learning.
Okay, awesome. Let's give them a hand. Thanks for being brave and coming up. If you would like to come up here, any of the lectures, and talk about what you learned, I've told you before, you can email me and I'll put you on the list, and then you're guaranteed to be able to come up and get a book, all right? So Clint, one of our great interns in the Center for Entrepreneurship, is going to introduce Dr. Lyle Barbour, and we'll get started.
You guys are in for a treat today. Dr. Barbour is such an awesome, personable guy. I'm super excited, I'm sure as many of you are, to hear what he says tonight. Dr. Lyle Barbour is a dedicated veterinarian and the owner of Mountain Point Equine Hospital in Bluffdale, Utah, which he founded in 2007. He began his journey as a pre-veterinary student at Utah State University before earning his Doctorate of Veterinary Medicine from Colorado State University in 2005. His practice is built on delivering exceptional care while fostering meaningful personal relationships with clients. Known for his authenticity and heart, Dr. Barbour values the bond between practitioner, client, and animal as much as medicine itself. His philosophy is shaped by Stoic principles, emphasizing discipline over discouragement and clarity over chaos. Through his work, he champions personal growth, resilience, and learning through adversity. Outside the clinic, Dr. Barbour manages a 420-acre ranch where he raises cattle and grows hay, staying deeply connected to life on the land. He is also devoted to his family and is preparing to welcome his first child with his wife. Whether in the field, the clinic, or on stage, Dr. Barbour brings a grounded perspective rooted in hard work, humility, and the belief that failure is often the beginning of something better. Please welcome Dr. Barbour to the stage.
You're the man. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. So we're going to get right into it. Tonight I want to discuss those world beliefs that we all have that must be broken for us to succeed. Okay? We have these things that we believe as we grow that are holding us back, and I'm going to be a true example of that. So as we move forward, this is not meant to be motivational in any way. This is meant to be real world. This is meant to be possibly and probably controversial, but that's okay. So I want to know, as we move forward, I want to discuss what is that difference? What is that secret sauce that we have that differs those 50% of businesses that fail within 5 years and those other businesses that not only survive, but they thrive for decades to come? What is that difference between those people that come from nothing, are nothing, have nothing, that continually get kicked in the teeth over and over and over, in order to survive, in order to succeed and thrive? What is that difference? What is that special sauce? Can we tap into that in order to make ourselves better? A little bit about me. So I grew up in the Salt Lake Valley. I loved playing sports. I loved the outdoors, and I loved everything horses. So I was fortunate enough to come to Utah State University in 1998 as an undergrad, and was fortunate enough to enter the Colorado State University vet program, where I graduated with a Doctorate of Veterinary Medicine in 2005. Then I did a year of private practice in equine medicine in the Salt Lake Valley, and then started our business in 2007. From 2007 to 2014, I was a solo practitioner doing emergency care and general practice care 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. We did a lot of work, but we loved every minute of it. I was fortunate enough to hire my first associate in 2014. From 2014 to 2020, we grew the practice to 6 veterinarians and building a brand new top-of-the-line facility with surgical suite, all the bells and whistles. That previous 13 years, I had really focused in on one skill. How can I make the customer experience amazing? How can I become the best veterinarian that I possibly could? How could I define the problem for the owner and solve that for the horse? But what I started to understand and what I started to see was I was failing miserably at everything else, everything associated with the business. I lacked the skills in managing, in recruiting, in training, in leading, et cetera, et cetera. I had failed miserably at those. They weren't my beliefs. You see, as a veterinarian in the equine world, I figured my belief was if I was top of my game, if I was one of the best veterinarians around, just by sheer osmosis, my business would succeed. My business would be rock star, right? So we started to see some things change. Our culture became extremely cancerous, really fractious. This business that I built, that I dreamed of since I was 5 years old, was a place that I despised. We just built a brand new $2 million facility, and that building was my nemesis. I disliked the people I worked with, and I absolutely hated being there. That's a true place of suffering and despair. And if you've ever been on rock bottom, that's the feeling that you get where you know there's problems, you don't know what they are, and you have absolutely no idea how to solve them. You have no one cheering you on. You're by yourself. You're not even cheering yourself on. That was the hardest time of my life, 2020. So we had to do some contemplating. What are we going to do? I had 3 options. Option 1, continue what we're doing, make the best of it, figure it out, and improve where we could. Option 2, start anew, change my business model, revamp. Start with skills that I didn't know. Option 3, I could quit, right? I could quit, liquidate, sell the business, sell the property. I could go find a job anywhere else making pretty good money. So what did we decide? Option 1 was off the table. I wasn't going to do another minute of that. It was absolute pure hell. I wasn't going to do another second. So that's off the table. Option 3. I had failed miserably in my business, but I hadn't failed the game. I knew that if I didn't quit, I could continue on. I knew that I wanted this business from when I was young. So I knew if I just continued on a little bit longer, I could possibly make it work. So I wasn't going to quit. Option 2 is the option that I chose. Now here's the thing, option 2 was no glorious option. Option 2 sucked. You know, option 2 was harder than option 1, more risky than option 3. It was a terrible option, but it's the option that I had. So what did I do? We opened a $2 million facility in March 2020 with 6 veterinarians and 30 people on staff. By the summer of 2020, I liquidated everybody. I went from 30 employees down to 5 and 6 veterinarians down to 1. That's how drastic it got. I was either going to die trying, or I'll go back to shoeing horses or doing something else. But I wasn't going to do another day of the hell that we had been through. So I started developing and focusing in on the skills that I lacked. The managing, the recruiting, the training, the leading. You see, those skills that I didn't realize I even needed. It took massive failure for me to change my world belief about what it actually meant to be an entrepreneur. So today I want to start with asking you a question. What world belief do you have that must be broken in order for you to succeed? In other words, if you developed what belief, this would exponentiate your growth. You see, in your 20s, your 30s, you have different beliefs than when you're 40, 50, 60, so on and so forth. And the frustrating thing is, you don't know that answer. There's only 2 ways you get this answer. Option 1, you do what I did. You forcefully get that answer through failure. You're running your head into a wall and you fail over and over and over until the world tells you what you're doing is not working. So you change your beliefs and you start developing skill. So you can learn this answer through failure. The other way to answer this is through someone that's done it. Let them pay your stupid tax, right? Listen to people that are above you, that are in front of you, that have done it, that have failed. Let them fail for you. Imagine if you could give your 3rd grade self all of the information that you have in your brain right now. If you could do that, how fast, how comfortable, how easy would it be to get through kindergarten, get through grade school, get through junior high, high school, right? You would breeze through it. It would be simplistic. It would be easy. You see, I think about death a lot, which is demented, I know. But I think about my older self. I didn't have a mentor growing up. I didn't have that option for me. So I think about when I have difficult decisions, what would my 85-year-old self do? Here's the funny thing. Most of the answers we already know. They're not clever, they're not sexy, they're not popular. They're actually pretty boring. So tonight, if I'm your 45-year-old self, what belief do I believe you need to break or you need to develop in order for you to succeed? The work needs done, failure is required, and nothing counts until you start. Pretty boring. You see, from 2020 to 2021, I grew more personally and my business grew more than it had in the previous 13 years. You see, we waste time, we waste decades working on the wrong stuff. We grind and we grind for hours upon end, weeks on end, and we gain no traction. We go nowhere until we finally hit that pivot point, that pain threshold that says, hey man, what you're doing is not working. Your belief system changes. Your failure redefines your world belief, and that's what happened to me. I was listening to Modern Wisdom the other day, the podcast, and they were talking about the work, the actual work, and how we run around and skirt around doing the actual thing, and we waste time and we waste our entire lives by doing the wrong stuff. And he was talking about doing the thing, right? Doing the work. Doing the thing is not watching videos about how to do the thing, making a perfect plan to do the thing, buying equipment for the thing, talking to your friends about how you're going to do the thing, posting online that you're going to do the thing, journaling about the thing, or visualizing doing the thing. Doing the thing is doing the thing. If you have a 3-hour morning routine before doing your thing, whether your thing is work, study, going to class, going to the gym, that 3-hour morning routine is not doing the thing. You see, anytime we want to gain anything, we want to grow, we want to achieve, we want to get a skill, we want to take our discomforts to comfort, we have to start on the left. Why do we have to start on the left? Because you're doing this for the first time, you're no good at it, right? You're doing something for the first time, you're trying to grow this skill. So what happens? You suck at it. If you suck at it, you don't enjoy it because we don't enjoy things we suck at. So you must start at failure. If you do not believe this, you will believe it soon. Maybe that's 10 years, 20 years. Trust me, you want to start believing this. You see, failure to me is simply not getting the outcome, right? If you shoot a free throw and you miss it, you failed. Doesn't mean you're a loser. Doesn't mean you're trash. Doesn't mean you're not ever going to hit a free throw. All it means is you didn't get the outcome. We have this belief in our mind that failure, when we run into failure and we have suffering, pain, anxiety, stress, rejection, disappointment, there's a red flag. We have that stop sign. It shouldn't be this hard. It shouldn't be this difficult. Something's wrong. So what happens? We quit. We pivot. We start something different. It's not supposed to feel this way. In actuality, as you grow, you start to learn the truth. Failure is not the red flag. When you feel suffering, pain, anxiety, stress, that's your green light. That's when you push more. And if you don't push more, you don't get the skill. You don't get the achievement. You have to put in the time to get the thing. And it doesn't matter whether you're tying your shoes, learning how to run hurdles, read, getting the date, driving a car, or starting a business. It doesn't matter. The larger the success, the larger the goal, the harder the failure is going to be. We underestimate this left side significantly. If we polled everybody in here and we said, how many free throws is it going to take for you to hit 10 in a row? Most of us would say, let's say it's the general population. It's going to take 200 to 300. We're going to need 200 to 300 free throws to hit 10. Some of you guys can do it first shot, right? Most of the general population, it's going to take a few hundred to hit 10 free throws. Then what happens when we give them the basketball and they shoot 10 free throws? They hit 3 out of 10, 2 out of 10, 4 out of 10. Their world belief is now changed. Man, this is going to take way more than I thought. I'm not even close. So we significantly underestimate the amount of failure it takes to get the thing. Over and over. This is a prime example. Y-axis is difficulty and the x-axis is time. So this is why people get stuck over and over and over in their business, in their life, in developing a skill, an outcome, a destination, etc. We're going to say this is somebody starting a business. We'll call him Jeff. Jeff's starting a landscaping business. He's excited. He's pumped. It's new. Him and his buddy are going to start this. They're going to buy some new equipment. And they go knocking on some doors, getting some business. They're getting some clientele. So what happens? It starts getting easier for Jeff. And he's rolling. He's making a little bit of money. He keeps going. About 6 months in, what happens? Motivation ends. Once motivation ends, what happens? The real work begins. The actual, true, meaningful work. At that point, when motivation ends, that's when your deficit skills start popping up. He realizes, I need to hire somebody else. I can't find good work. He's terrible at sales. He's terrible at marketing and recruiting, right? So what happens? He hits this wall of failure and this red flag pops up. This red flag telling him, it shouldn't be this hard. It shouldn't be this difficult. Something is wrong. So in Jeff's mind, the market sucks, the economy sucks. People won't pay for his thing. There's not a market for it. I can't hire good help. So what does he do? He quits. He starts something completely different. Starts business too. He's excited, he's pumped. The exact same point that his first business failed, he runs out of motivation. That's the point where the real work begins. He starts running into his own failures that he did not develop from the last business. So he hits this red flag. It shouldn't be this hard. It shouldn't be this difficult. So what do? Well, it's got to be the market. It's got to be the economy. People won't pay for my services. I can't find good help. And he does this over and over and over and over until he's 10 years later and he started 3 businesses and he has gained 0 skills. He hasn't broken the threshold of pain, discomfort, and failure that is required 100% of the time to get the thing. If you don't put in the time, you don't get the thing. It's simple cost benefit. This is another option. This guy is a friend of mine. His name's Curtis. He started a business that's a little out of the box. He grew up in construction, and he noticed the problem that contractors were having. They were spending and losing thousands of dollars each month buying concrete forms. They were made out of wood, and they would last 2 to 3 jobs. So he figured out, maybe what if we try to solve this solution or solve this problem with using some different material? Maybe we try steel. Maybe we try some stainless steel. He tried multiple options and multiple different manufacturers. And what he'd come up to be, his final decision that worked the best was aluminum. So aluminum was a little expensive, but it was light. He could make the end clips. He figured out the nuances of manufacturing, and he designed a trailer for it. So he started off in his business, not run off motivation, run off focusing on problems and the skills that he had, and the ones that he didn't, he figured it out. It took him 4 years. But once he breaks through, he now has this skill set and a recurring revenue business that is successful. And the kicker is, it's easy for him. It's simple, right? Jeff's up here starting business after business, gaining no ground because he didn't put in the required work to get the thing. You must endure enough failure and suffering in order to grow. We're going to say you guys take this to heart and you truly listen and you're here for a reason and you want to grow. You want to get better. You want to improve on a skill. There's 2 ways you can go about this. Okay? We're going to say 2 of you want to try and get better at something. We're going to say you get to arbitrarily choose what skill you want to grow at. So we're going to arbitrarily choose for you. We're going to say you want to improve your grades. How do you want to do it? I want to become more efficient at study, right? I want to figure out a better way to utilize my 24 hours a day because I'm sick of being ordinary. So we have Tim up here, the yellow line. What does Tim do? He says, all right, I start class at 7. I'm going to wake up at 6:30. I'm going to get to class, go to class. After class, I'm going to study for an hour. He studies for an hour. That becomes relatively easy. That's his normal routine, right? So now he says he wants to improve on that skill. So he, instead of waking up at 6:30, he's going to say, I'm going to wake up at 5:30 and figure this out. I want to wake up at 5:30 and see if I can progress to my goal. I'm going to wake up at 5:30, get to class at 6, study for an hour, start class at 7. He does that for about 8 days. What happens? Sunday hits, he misses Monday. He stays up a little too late. In missing Monday, he misses Tuesday. He didn't hit the prerequisite failure quota. So he starts over and over and over again. That's what everyone does. That's what ordinary people do. Person number 2 starts class at 9 o'clock, okay? Person number 2 understands that in order to grow and succeed, I must do extremely difficult things. So I'm going to wake up, instead of 8:30 and get to class, I'm going to wake up at 7:30, get to class at 8, study for an hour. So I do that for 2 weeks. My circadian rhythm acclimates, and now it's easy. I can wake up at 7:30, no problem. But we know now, this person knows now, that when you're in a constant state of comfort, you don't grow. So what do we need to do? This person wants to be extraordinary, not ordinary. So we're going to throw ourselves back up to the top. We're going to focus on another skill. Instead of waking up at 7:30, we're going to wake up at 6:30, get to class at 7. We're going to study for 2 hours before class. We do that for 2 weeks. Circadian rhythm acclimates. We can do that, wake up, no problem, just like it was every day. But we know, here's the difference between ordinary and extraordinary. We know that in order to grow, we absolutely must continue to put ourselves back in failure and suffer, right? So what do? We get crazy. We wake up at 4:45, get to the gym at 5 a.m., work out, go back home, clean shower, and we're back to school studying for 2.5 hours. We're getting a half day's worth of work done before everyone starts their class. That's what extraordinary people do. That's how you win. That's how you 100x what someone else can do in their average day. If that person does this for a semester, you will never catch them. You will never catch them. Even if you match their efficiency and grit, you will never catch them. They're way too far ahead of you. The vet school example, I get this question all the time. What's it going to take for me to get into vet school? Heck, we can Google this. We know what it takes. But what we don't know is the cost to do the thing. So when people ask me this, I'm completely frank and open with them. It's going to cause lots of pain, isolation, suffering, boredom, and discomfort. It's going to suck. It's going to suck to try to get in. It's going to be hard. You're going to have to be top. You're going to have to be on your game. You have to do more than what everyone else does. Do you still want to do it? Yeah. I volunteer with you guys. I love it. It's exciting. You guys do some cool things. We get to do some awesome things on horses that are standing, flushing sinuses in an awake horse, sticking needles in their heads. We get to swim horses on the underwater treadmill and the saltwater spa. And this one. This was an 1,800-pound Clydesdale that we took a golf ball-sized tumor off of the globe of the eye, standing in an awake horse. That stuff is cool. That stuff is fun. Is it worth it? Yeah, it's worth it. But it's up to you if that's worth it. So we have to decide, what's the most important thing, right? If you need to get high GPA, it's going to suck. You're going to have to move. You're going to have friends that are lost. You might have to get a job. What the heck's work-life balance? You might do all this stuff, and heck, it may not even work. You may not get in. You put 4 years in, and it doesn't happen. So what do 95% of the people do here, right? 95% of the people that talk to me, that come ask me this question. They don't start. They don't enroll. They don't move. Or they start, and when the motivation ends and they hit that wall, they quit. I had 2 classmates that quit veterinary school the 3rd year of vet school because they ran into that wall. Now that sucks. Your graph may look like this. It may be easy for you to get a 3.7, right? Each person is going to have their own skill set. It may look like this. It may take way longer than you think and be a lot harder for you to network, to get the letters of recommendation, to get that experience. You see, my first 5 years in business, I was stuck up here in focusing on being the best veterinarian I could. Defining the solution for the client and solving it for the horse. How do I communicate in difficult situations? Once I solved that, that was easy. I can now talk to clients no problem. It's no issue. But I know in order to grow, I must continue. So the next 10 years, I threw myself up there in figuring out how to manage, figuring out how to recruit, figuring out how to teach and lead, right? Right now, I'm currently up here with 2 different skills that I'm trying to solve. They're very difficult for me. They cause significant anxiety and stress. But I know that if I don't do that, I'm going to be stagnant. I will be ordinary. I don't want to be ordinary. I want to be the 5%. Michael Jordan once said, I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that's why I succeed. Kobe Bryant, there's a choice that we have to make as people. You can either do the work or you can grind, or you can waste your time. If you're not doing the right thing and failing, you're doing the wrong thing. So, what now? The most important skill that I have focused on in my career, and there's not even a close second, is the ability for me to divorce my thoughts from my behavior. The ability for me to compartmentalize. The ability for me to do extremely difficult things regardless of how I feel, regardless of internal and external factors. Raise of hands, or just yell it out. What industry has the highest rate of suicide? Veterinary medicine. This is why it's so important to me. This is why failure is instilled in my beliefs. It's down into my core, it's into my soul. I'm going to tell you a quick story. Some of you may have heard this, but I think it's worthwhile. September 2025. I had one of those days. We work 12-hour shifts, 5 days a week. This was, I believe, a Wednesday. I was on farm calls, 3 o'clock. My buddy calls me. My buddy's my client, okay? He's a rancher. He's a horse trainer. He has 300 pairs of mama cows, and his best dog got kicked and has been limping. Dog's name was Chip. He calls me and says, hey man, I know you're not a small vet. Can you x-ray this? Can I bring this dog to you and x-ray it? I need to see if we need to do something about it. Absolutely, bring him in. I'm not gonna be back till about 7 o'clock. I'm out on farm calls, but bring him in, throw him in a stall, we'll x-ray it. If there's something fractured, we'll call someone smart to have him fix it. So he does. I get back to the office at 7 o'clock. What's waiting for me in the parking lot? A colic. They didn't call in, they showed up. It's a barrel horse. It's about $50,000. It's flopping around on the ground in the parking lot. For those of you that don't know, colic is abdominal pain. It is the #1 killer of horses. It is extremely emergent. So we drop everything. We start to stabilize this colic. We hydrate his GI tract. We make sure that everything's in place. He has not twisted. He has not displaced a colon. Everything's where it should be. We break his pain, give him anti-inflammatories and smooth muscle relaxers. We get him stable. This takes us about an hour and a half. We put him in the stall. It's about 9 o'clock now. My tech needs to leave. She was supposed to be gone at 7. We have a great team. She forgets about Chip. Hey, we got Chip in the stall. Oh, we need to look at Chip. So she brings Chip out and we x-ray Chip. He's walking out and he's limping. He's bearing weight, but he's putting some weight on it, but he is limping. I don't think anything's fractured. I don't think anything is dislocated. So we take some x-rays. The spine looks good. The sacrum looks good. The leg looks good. The hip's in place. Everything looks good. He's very sore through his hip, through his muscles, on palpation, deep-seated bone or muscle bruise. But I think Chip's going to be good, right? So we give him some anti-inflammatory. We're going to put him on some rest, give him a week off, and see where he goes. So my technician goes home. I go home. I'm up twice that night working on this colic, keeping it comfortable. When horses get uncomfortable, they tend to want to thrash and roll. When they thrash and roll, they put pieces of bowel where it shouldn't be. They twist, pinch off blood supply, they die. That can be a 2-hour time frame. So we need to keep this horse comfortable and quiet. We start work at 7 o'clock. I need to be there at 5:30 to make sure this colic gets worked up before my first appointment gets here at 7:30. I work the colic up. He's doing okay, somewhat stable, but still uncomfortable. I'm not quite over the moon with how he's doing. So I'm in my office doing medical records. My technician shows up at 7 o'clock. She comes running in the room into my office with that look on her face. If you've ever experienced or seen someone that has seen something extremely tragic, that's the look. I knew something was wrong. I thought the horse broke his leg. I thought the horse was thrashing and rolling something. What's going on? What's happening? Chip's dead. What do you mean Chip's dead? Chip is dead. He's in the stall and he's dead. So I run out there, and Chip has been dead for who knows how long. 3 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, I don't know. But he's dead. He's long gone. There's no reviving him. As we're sitting in the stall, wondering what the heck happened with Chip, this horse next door is banging his head against the wall, flopping around, rolling. Extreme pain. So I have to stabilize this horse. As soon as I get done stabilizing this horse, I have to call my friend and tell him his family member that he loves like a kid has died. And he hasn't only died, he died because of my failure, because I missed something. That's a bad place to be. And then you have to figure out, make a game plan for this next horse. We need to call this owner and tell her this horse is flopping around and not comfortable. We may have to do surgery. Oh, by the way, our next appointment's here. We have 12 hours of appointments left with no breaks and no lunch break. That's a day that will test what you can and can't handle. You see, I don't know what I would have done if that day happened to me 1 year out of vet school. I'm not saying I would have taken my life, but would I have quit? 50% of large animal veterinarians quit being a large animal veterinarian after 1 year. 1 year they quit. Why? Because of this day. Those days wear on you. So maybe I wouldn't have taken my life, but maybe I would have quit. So, the reason this is so close and endeared to my heart, right? What's our solution? This is the controversial part. This is my true belief. What's our solution? We need some more work-life balance. We need to have more life. We need to have less work. If we can focus on doing less of those disgusting trash days and see the light at the end of the tunnel because we have 4 days off and we have vacation, we can make it through. I can make it through those garbage days if I just have more time. How's that worked for us? When I went to school in 1998, what do you think the #1 industry was for suicide? Veterinary medicine. How's it working? Right? We're #1 for 30 years that I know of. And that's not a good #1. So it's not working. If we focus on running away from the difficulty, we don't get better at it. Regardless if you take time off, regardless if you have work-life balance. So what's my thought? What's my suggestion? What's my true belief? Because I've experienced it. What if we take that day and we do 2, 3 of them a week? And you did that for a month. What would happen? That day would become easier. Maybe just a fraction, but it would be easier. What if you did that for 6 months? Man, what if you did that for 10 years? You took that garbage trash day that you absolutely hate, that you suffer, that you despise, and you do that for 10 years? Dude, you're going to be unstoppable. Like there is no day that will be more difficult than that, and you will be able to handle it. That's how you 100x what other people do. If we run away from the failure and we focus on other things, you don't get the skill because you didn't put the input in. To get the thing, you have to pay the price. So here's the cool thing though. You don't have to do any of that. It's your life. Like, you can be ordinary, that's cool. If you want a life of comfort, man, get at it. No one cares, I don't care. We're all good with it. No judgment. You guys can be what you want to be. But I'll tell you what, if you're 5 years from now and you're looking back, and you have the same amount of skills and you're still focusing on the same stupid problem over and over, something's not working. It's not your mom and dad's fault, right? It's not the economy. It's not the market. You chose that. That's what you guys decided, right? If we focus on a life of comfort and that's what you want, great. But just know, you don't get extraordinary results if you put in ordinary inputs. That's your choice. So, you need to decide why you're here, right? Do you want to be ordinary? Do you want to be extraordinary? Do you want to be the 95%? Do you want to be the 5%? You get to decide. But you can't be extraordinary without focusing on the work. The actual true work. It's the part that sucks. How do I know? Because you're no good at it. If you're no good at it, it sucks. That's why you don't want to do it. You must start realizing that failure is the green light. That's the sign that you're doing the right thing. When you're failing and suffering and in pain, that's when you're doing the right thing, not the wrong thing. You got to do more of it, and you got to do it faster. You got to break through that pain threshold. But you must start. Most of us won't, and that's cool. But it's up to you, and you have to decide. Thank you very much. Any questions? Not a single one. Oh, right behind Doc.
Yes, sir. So, your capacity to take pain has increased over time a lot. What are the
Sorry.
What did you use early on to help you stay grounded during those hard days? Because now your capacity is so much better. But when you were earlier in your career, you didn't have mentors. You were trying to get this thing started. What did you use to hold on to keep you grounded?
Utter necessity. I had absolutely nothing, came from nothing, grew the business from nothing. It was either push through or quit, and quitting wasn't an option because I had no backfall. I had no one to help, no one cheering me on. So it was 1,000% pure necessity. I think necessity is a great thing. If you have to do something and you have no other options, then you have no other options. And that's what I had.
You're obviously a very skilled veterinarian and worked for time and always evidence is a judge. What skills did you lack and had to acquire after your license was off?
So what skills did I lack besides everything from the business side? Biggest one for me is recruiting and leading. I recruited the wrong people I didn't know how to hire, and I hired the wrong people. And in hiring the wrong people and not knowing how to lead, it's a catastrophe. And honestly, the true answer is everything. I was a failure at absolutely everything. So I had to focus on one skill at a time and get better at it. And I'm still there. Like, I don't know everything, and I'm still pushing very hard and stressing and have a lot of discomfort, and we love every minute of it. So To answer your question, it was a lot of stuff. Yep.
So obviously, you've been able to work through this on your own. You work with so many other people. What have you done to deal with other people that maybe are not as willing to push through? Or how do you find the right people?
So I think that's a skill to be developed, so you need to focus on that initially. And I asked myself, for you guys, what advice as a sequel to this, to that question can I give you? I think you guys should start really defining what you want. Focus in on what you want. Not necessarily just, a career path or whatnot, but what's it going to take to get that? And to answer that question, if someone's in your life or something's in your life that does not move you towards that goal, because you've defined it and you know what it takes and you know that answer, we all know that answer. We have that one person that, man, it's always negative. I think we're holding us back. If there's that person in your life or that thing in your life, it's time to cut it out. If they don't get you closer to your goal, your defined skill that you want, that outcome, you cut them out. You can't get better by trying to pull everybody up.
Financially, coming from like nothing, you're always taught or have that fear of you can't like use all of your money. So how do you force through like building a $2 million plant is insane. So how are you okay to be in the bad spot financially to grow later?
So let me repeat that, and I want to make sure that I'm answering the proper question. Ask it in a different way.
Finances hold a lot of people back. What are you willing to do? Like, how are you willing to do that to be able to take out the loans or the
Gotcha.
or whatever?
Gotcha. So the problem with a lot of businesses, I think, and it certainly was with ours, we were generating a pile of money. Like, we were doing well. Unfortunately, we just weren't profiting a dang thing. So we had that capital. We had the ability to purchase that. And on a personal level, we had our finances very in a row. We didn't borrow money on anything. So we had our finances lined out, and we were generating a lot of money. They shouldn't have given us the money for the building. They shouldn't have. But we figured it out. We made it work.
So you talk a lot about like work-life balance, almost like how do you all in? Is there any kind of hard line with like a wife and a kid you draw at some point?
So I think there is a yin and yang. I do think you have to have fun outside. Like, I have a ton of fun. I think timing is key, and defining what you want is key. So if you want to start a business and you want to be extremely successful, you're probably going to have to hammer it. You're going to probably have to take 10 years and focus on that. Maybe your life takes the back seat. So timing is key. Right now I'm having my first kid, right? And I'm in a position now where I can. If this happened to me, if we were having a kid as a 25-year-old, my business wouldn't be where it is. So I think it goes back to, you must define what you want. If you want to work 40 hours a week and have a cush life and get us side by side and go fishing and hunting on the weekends and go to work and do it all over, that's cool. It's all good. You don't have to push it. But just know what you're giving up. Truly define what you want, if that's what your goal is.
What would you tell your freshman self looking back now?
I love that question. I would focus every day, every class, every course on what can I gain out of this? What's my goal? I would focus on stacking skills over and over again. And I'm talking from the micro side. Like, I'm not good at multiple choice questions, right? Figure that out. I can't write essays. I can't save $10. Start on the small things and focus on getting better at those. Push through the discomfort and the failure. Stack that skill. Move to something bigger. Move to something bigger. When you get my age, you will have exponentially more skills than I have. But you have to focus on it. If you don't focus on getting better at those individual skills, we tend to shift and turn before we actually reach that pain threshold. So I would say define what you want, really define what you want, decide what it's going to take, times that by 10, and focus on stacking skills like crazy.
When you hit your roadblocks or your obstacles or difficult times or information that you didn't know about, where did you turn to find that information? Was that in like books, or was that through a mentor, or through what sources?
Honestly, it was pure stupidity, I think. I had no mentors. I had no help. I had no one to look for. I had no interweb and chat GBT. The truth of the matter is I did it the wrong way. Like, I completely did it the wrong way. One of my biggest failures, one of my biggest lacking skills that I have found out over the years is networking. I failed at networking from, pre-vet all the way through. I wasn't good with people. I didn't network. I didn't call. I didn't stop at places. So I didn't have any help. So I just brute force, grit, punch through. And there's so much easier ways to do it than what I did. But sometimes that's what happens. Sometimes failure is your only way through. Sometimes there's no easy way out. You have to figure it out. And ironically enough, you may not know if it's even going to work. Most of the time you don't. So you push and you have faith, and that's all you can do. That's all I could do. Anything else? Thank you guys. I appreciate you.